This is my Jarlesburg type cheese that is not quite 3 months old. It'll be 3 months the 17th of June. So it's like 2.5 months, I guess, to be more accurate here. When I started it, I waxed it, and I wasn't happy with that. I removed the wax, and since then it's being washed with a damp cloth that's dipped in salty water every time I get mold starting to form on it. Well, I'm going to post this video for those of you who have been watching the progress of this particular cheese since I posted the original video. I wanted to show you what's happening with it now. I'm also going to put this video on a couple of Facebook groups of cheesemakers. And so when you hear me asking for opinions, it's opinions from the cheesemakers or from you if you make cheese. I had this out yesterday just to turn it, and I noticed small cracks coming in the surface, and I don't see one right here. So I'm wondering if it's drying out too dry. So what I'm going to do is cut it into at least quarters and maybe eighths, I'm not sure. I have a special paper that is to wrap washed rind cheeses in. I'm thinking if I do that, it will retain whatever moisture it's got left in it. The papers are below this platter that I have it on right now. So first, here goes nothing. I'll see if I can cut the thing. I'm not expecting to find any holes like you would find in a Jarlsberg cheese. At the stage when it was supposed to do that, it said that it should swell slightly. Well, I didn't get any swelling, so I'd be surprised if there are holes. Look what it looks like inside. Well, I guess you might call that there a hole. The rest of it just looks like it wasn't probably compressed enough. But I will bring you back once I've got it cut into 4 pieces at least, and we'll try wrapping it. I guess what I didn't say at the beginning of this video is I'm also going to show you a Gouda that I'm making. And it's a washed rind cheese as well. And I want to show the mold that's appearing on it, and I'll explain that more a little bit later on. I'm going to wrap one for you now, but I did a practice round first, and I think a quarter of the cheese wraps quite nicely in that paper. It's a specialized paper, as I said. One side is actually paper, and the other side is plastic. The paper side evidently is treated with sulfur. Not a great deal. It's not. The paper isn't yellow, but the cheese will give up its moisture into the paper, and as the aging process goes on and it needs the moisture, the paper will give it back to the cheese. I have paper that I wrap camembert and triple creme in, and that does the same thing, but I don't think that paper is treated with sulfur. It doesn't say that it is anyway. Determine where this is. I was able to wrap one. Will I be able to wrap one with you here? Odd shape to try to wrap. I guess maybe I am getting it covered. If I absolutely had to, I guess I could cut it into a smaller piece, or I could use 2 sheets. I'm just using a packing tape, a clear, like Scotch tape, one of those guns that you wrap packages with to hold it together. There's two of them. I'm going to put them back in the same plastic container that I keep them sealed in, and on a cheese mat, and sealed in that and back in my ripening cheese fridge to continue aging. However, I want to taste this. I have been a bit alarmed at the smell when I turn this. It's always been very strong inside of the container. But smelling this today, after I get it out, it does have the sort of the smell of a Jarlesburg. So. Oh yeah, already it has a nice flavor. And it is becoming like a Jarlesburg cheese. It's a little bit sharper, but it has that nutty taste in the background there, and it's nice and creamy. I plan to continue aging it until August. Well, I'll continue wrapping these, and then I'll bring you back and show you the Gouda with the questions that I have about my Gouda cheese. By the time I wrapped the fourth piece, I was getting the hang of it, and it became quite easy to do. But I'm not unwrapping the other three to do it again. I think that's good enough. I had a second slice off of another piece and tried it again, and I really like the flavor of it. It's really nice. And I think it is sort of turning into what a Jarlesburg would taste like, even though my Jarlesburg doesn't have any holes. Well, this is going back in the cheese fridge. Put the lid on and put it back in the cheese fridge, and I will continue to turn the pieces every time that I turn the Gouda, I guess. I'll bring the Gouda out and show you what I mean. This is my pretty blue Gouda. It's about a month old, a little less than a month old, and I have been probably having to, for the last 2 weeks, I've probably had to wash it a couple of times a week with just salt water. The blue mold comes off quite easily, as you can see. This is the same plate that I used for the other cheese, but it's been washed and dried, and this cloth looks the same, but it's a new one. Don't want to cross-contaminate here with the different molds on the different cheeses. I get this cleaned up a bit and show you what I'm talking about here. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to talk about isn't as prevalent as it was the last time that I cleaned it. But I'm wondering what any of the cheesemakers think of these other kinds of mold that are showing there. I'll zoom in a little closer if I can here. There are shades of brown, very light brown. There's something there that's almost a little yellow, darker brown. And they were more prevalent than that, so not quite sure what's happening, but the blue mold I'm not concerned with, and I guess if I rub a little bit more, some of those come off a bit too. Whoops, knocked the camera over here. Well, I'll continue cleaning this and put it away, but that's the end of this little video. I would really appreciate some comments from cheesemakers and from you people that are just interested in watching these videos, and comments from you would be welcome as well. But, do you think I've done the right thing with the Jarlesburg, and should I be concerned about some of those other colors that are showing up on my month-old Gouda? Well, thank you very much for watching.